before you make an investment in yourself, you will do your due diligence to check out all the available products to see if it really works for you, if it resonates with you, if it's something there for you. And it's the same thing if you're going to hire a coach or a mentor or take a program, which is what I have. But I thought, oh, wow, I need to give you my philosophy so you can make a better decision on if you want to do that, and also to understand why I am talking about it and why I'm giving it to you. Any coach is going to come with what they have lived and what they have experienced and what they come to know. And if they haven't done that, they're probably not going to be the correct coach for you. And they're all different types and will work on different areas. And that's brilliant. I've had many of them over my years. And I can think back even to a work situation that I had back in the 70s. That's how long this goes. And my boss came to me, and he was my supervisor, my grant supervisor, and I was running a company. And he said, well, you're not able to take a vacation because you're taking care of everything and you haven't given more responsibility to other people. And if you can't leave to feel that your business is secure, you have a problem. And I did. And so I had to work on that. So I had to learn that one. And I carried it forth, and I learned it in many different ways. But then later, I still wasn't there. So I went to another coach later in my years, and I said, I've got to do this new thing now. And he says, you have to. And I said, no, I can't. I said, I can't do what you're doing. He says, you will, because you'll be better than me. That's how we all evolve, you see. He said, I got my information from my coach, and then I took it and I put my stuff on it, what I learned, what I experienced, and then I give it back. And he says, you'll do the same thing, and you'll be better than me. And that was really crazy for me to hear. But then I had to think about it and go, well, of course, we're all supposed to be better than those who came before because we have their information to use now. So, but what I had to do, I couldn't accept any of that. And I went through my life having to figure things out. And that's why I do the work that I do, because I figured it out. I went through so many failures and things that you could not imagine that I started to learn, wait a minute, I'm not going in the right direction. That's got to be the reason for this. This shouldn't be happening. I believe that everyone is born with what they're supposed to do. And I know that for sure right now. They're born with what is within them to put into the world. And if they were to do that, they would be really successful, happy, prosperous. They would have everything they want. That's absolutely true, except not all of us will do it. I wouldn't do it. Didn't do it for the longest time because I would stop and think, wait a minute, this doesn't feel good, but I'm still staying here because I'm stuck. I'm too afraid to move on. So then I wrote a book about fear because I had to move through all the fear that had held me back forever. And then I realized, wait a minute, I started doing something else because I wasn't confident. I couldn't hold on to my voice. I didn't know why I couldn't speak and hold that voice. So I worked on that and I developed that. And then I said, oh, wow, this works. And I became more confident. Then I went through serious depression. I went through so many illnesses you can't even imagine. So hospitalizations, all of that. And then I went through a major clinical depression. And so now I'm afraid of mental illness. But then I figured that out because I studied that as well, and I healed that. And I thought, oh, wow, I could heal that. And then I went through another period where I had another serious illness, but then I came out of it, and no one could figure that out, but I healed myself. I used the available sciences together to effectuate a healing. And everybody can do that. So my philosophy is this. I know that everyone is born with equal abilities. Now, you're also born with different paths, however, so you won't always follow or allow your ability to develop for some reasons that you may not even know. That was the case for me. There was a lot of old stuff in my past that I had to move through and understand and reinterpret that. See, because I don't see anything as being a failure. I don't see anything as being accidental. I don't see anyone as not having great abilities and talents. It's just not there. The only thing that I do see is people who don't recognize that and won't own it. Every single person was born with something within them that if they were to understand it and accept it, would make them the happiest person in the world. No question. Whatever you've given, wherever you are given in your life is what you're supposed to use to transform and give back to the world. That's how everything evolves. I just saw a interview with Josh Peck. He was a kid star, and he was really heavy. He was overweight. He was all of that, and all of his problems, bad childhood, and he wrote a book about it because he got through it. And he talked about that and to show everyone else that you can do anything. And that has been my story all along. If many of you don't know, when I first began this program, the program that I have now, it was called something completely different. It was called Overcoming Everything. And I said I wanted to use that title because I wanted people to understand that you can do that. But then I was told, well, no, people won't believe that. And same thing happened when I said 4 weeks to your best life. People didn't believe that either. Except I know that it works because I've proven it. And the reason I guarantee it because I know that it works because I've proven it. The only reason you don't get to where you want to be in your life is because you've convinced yourself that you can't do it. And then when you've convinced yourself you can't do it and you've done it for so long, you have to use available science to change your brain, to change your mind, so you start creating different results. We've gotten to the place where we understand neuroscience in an entirely new way. And then we now have neurobiology, which will show us that even the actions that we take are affecting our realities, are creating our realities, creating our lives. And when we know how to use that, we just have to take the time to then allow it to develop. I couldn't take the time before. That's why I created something where I knew I would give people the opportunity to take that time to really change and embody themselves. Because after you change, you need some time to adjust to that because it'll freak you out a little bit. When you get to the place where you can see, oh, wait a minute, I did something and it's really good. Wow, I had value that I didn't know. It takes you a moment to really adjust to that because everybody has it and you will discover it. Any coach, any great mentor or influencer that you listen to, you've heard their stories. You've heard what they've gone through and why they created what they've created. But my philosophy is a little bit different because I don't tell you what to do. I know that every single person has within them what they need, and they just haven't been asking the correct questions. And I can ask the correct questions and get you to find out who you are. My work is called self-empowerment, leading you to self-actualization. Because see, all the other stuff won't do any good unless you've embodied it and you're using it. See, and I told you about the depression. I don't have that anymore. I figured that out and how to move through it. And that's what I put in my programs. That's how I work with everyone. All of the illnesses gone. Not gone, but not what they were. And then to get to a place where you're peaceful, where you're happy, where you're no longer fearful, that's what you can do. That's where you can get to when you take the time to change. I don't see, again, anyone as being inferior, having a disability. They don't exist. It's just something you were given to be able to use and transform and give back to the world. Your interpretation of everything about your life may have been off, as mine was. I know that everything about my life was just the way that I was looking at it and interpreting it, and that's why I had to develop something that would allow other people to get there much easier and quicker than what I ever did. But that is my philosophy, and I just wanted to give this to you, especially before I changed the investment on my one program, because it's got to go a lot bigger. But please look at it and see if you want those guaranteed results of feeling more confident, knowing your purpose, and less fearful of your life.